don't know which video it was, but one of my YouTube videos got a comment this morning, and what the guy said was like, admitting that you use steroids has undermined everything about Vince Gironda's nutrition techniques and training techniques, and I can tell that the 17 pounds you gained was not natural. And he like wrote "not" in capital letters. And what he's talking about is, I went into a lean bulk, okay, and what I did was, I put on, in like over a year, okay, it was like a year and a half, I put on 17 pounds of muscle, okay, which, you know, a lot of guys like this guy, for instance, you know, won't believe was through a natural means, okay, must have been mega dosing steroids and insulin and growth hormone and stuff like that. So I wanted to go ahead and talk in this video about how you can do something like that without mega dosing steroids and growth hormone and insulin. Okay, the way that I actually put on all this muscle was, first of all, I don't know what he says admitting I use steroids, because I've been very open about the fact that I'm on medically prescribed, legal, medical grade testosterone replacement, okay? That's not steroids, okay? Yes, I do inject testosterone, but what I'm doing with that is I'm injecting an amount of testosterone that will bring my levels of testosterone up to what it would be if it was optimal, okay? The way it works is a normal range is from 300 to 1100, okay? The test that I got from my doctor. And I had 400, so that means that I was at the very low level of what's considered normal, okay? Now, there's a difference between normal and optimal, okay? So when I talked to my doctor after we got the results, what he basically said is like, you know, we want to like double that, get it from like 400 up to like 800, okay? A little bit over 800. So that's at like the high end of normal, an optimal level, okay? So I don't use steroids, okay? What I do is I use medicine to get my testosterone levels to where it should be, you know, where it would be ideal. It's the same thing as if somebody had high blood pressure and their blood pressure was at like the high end of normal, and they took something to get it down to where it would be optimal, you know, like the best possible blood pressure. You know, if you have diabetes, you take insulin. If you have blood pressure or some kind of a heart condition, you take something to get your heart rate or your blood pressure or whatever down to what's normal. So that's what I do. It's not something like, you know, when some of these MMA fighters get caught for using steroids and they have like 10 times the testosterone level of a normal man. What this really does is this brings me down to like, you know, like when you're a kid in school and there's like somebody in gym class that like doesn't work out and he's in better shape and stronger than anybody else. You know, there's like, for instance, like there's a guy I met, he was kind of like a country guy recently. You know, I shook hands with him. This guy had a paw. I mean, his hands were huge. His muscle packed into his hands, you know. You know, he was kind of chubby, but like I smacked him on the shoulder. I met him like, hey, how's it going? Smacked him on the shoulder. He was solid. He was like solid. He was built like a power lifter, but he didn't lift. He was a country kind of guy, so maybe he did a little work around the house, around the farm or whatever, you know, but he was just naturally a big guy. So that's basically what the testosterone replacement does. It gives me like, you know, the optimal levels that like somebody who has good testosterone would have. So how did I, you know, put on all this muscle? Okay, let's go ahead and talk about it. Now, first of all, okay, let me just say right now that if I put on 17 pounds of muscle in a year and a half, which is 18 months, or actually it's a little bit more than a year and a half probably, that's not even 1 pound of muscle a month. Okay, that's not even 1 pound of muscle a month, which is very doable. 1 pound of lean muscle a month is very doable, okay? So this isn't a huge thing. Another thing about this is, you know, you gotta talk about like where I was starting at when I did this. I had lifted weights in my like mid-20s, okay? I'm 44 now. So that means I had lifted weights like almost to the day 20 years. Like I stopped lifting weights 20 years before I had this big growth phase, okay? So my body was not used to lifting weights. I did a lot of calisthenics, but I did not add weight to my calisthenics, okay? And also, what I had been doing previously was trying to be as lean as possible. You know, I was trying to get as lean and muscular as possible. I was really overweight when I was when I was down to almost 40 years old, and like right before my 40th birthday, I went on a diet to get very, very lean, get ripped abs for my 40th birthday. That's when I created the anaerobics diet, the anaerobics workout program, got me ripped. I mean, extremely lean from being extremely fat in a short amount of time. So what basically I'm saying is I hadn't been lifting with weights. My hormone levels had dropped, okay, as I got, older. I hadn't been eating to grow, okay, and all of that kind of like contributed to having what people call newbie gains, okay? Newbie gains means like you get a kid who's never lifted weights, and he goes ahead into the gym, no matter how good or bad his diet is, no matter how good or bad his workout is, he's going to get bigger and stronger quickly because his body's not used to it. It's like shocked, okay? So the fact that I was, if anything, eating to lose weight, the workouts I was doing were to lose weight. I finally went on a diet where the intention was to gain weight, to gain muscle. I finally went on a workout where the intention was to gain muscle. I added in resistance, okay? I added in squats for like the first time in my life. I never had big thighs. I always had skinny thighs. 20 years ago, I used to do stiff-legged deadlifts. I put in trap bar deadlifts, which is a completely different movement. For the first time in my entire life, okay? So I squatted for the first time in my life with weight, and I added in trap bar deadlifts for the first time in my life, and I added in weight to my dips and weight to my pull-ups. I perfectly worked out. It means the diet and the workout were both optimal for the results that I wanted, and I was extraordinarily consistent. Like no cheat days, no missed meals, no missed workouts, nothing for, well over a year. So I had the optimal priming, which meant, I went from like having very low hormone levels to having optimal hormone levels, not PED use levels, but normal optimal hormone levels. I went from having a diet intended to lose weight to a diet intended to gain weight, a workout intended to lose weight to a workout intended to gain weight, not having lifted weights in 20 years. So my muscles were like virgins, so to speak, for growing muscle. And all that happened at the same time. And yes, what I did actually was, like I said, I had like a growth spurt, adding in weights, you're going to get strong quick. So a lot of those 17 pounds of muscle actually came on in the beginning. Like when I jumped on TRT, when I jumped on the mass building diet, when I jumped on the mass building workout, yeah, I got like results quickly. And after the first maybe like 5 pounds that I put on, I'd say it was even less than a pound a month, which is, like I said, it's very, very doable, okay? And another thing to look at is, there are two reasons why people use steroids. Well, because they're too lazy, people use steroids. But the two real reasons why serious, quote, people use steroids are because they want to get faster results, or because they want to get better results than is humanly possible. So that means, let's say that you're, whatever you believe in, God, genetics, your DNA, science, whatever, the universe set up an idea that you're going to weigh 200 pounds. Well, if you want to weigh more than 200 pounds and your body only produces, it's only natural for you to go up to 200 pounds with perfect training, perfect diet, that's why people put on, use stuff. They want to go from 200 pounds to like 250 pounds, which is not normal. That's why they have to go on, different types of hormones to get up to 250 pounds. They were never intended to get that big. So I started off, I used to get lean at like 170, okay? And maybe probably like 165, 167 was when I was really lean. So now at 5'9", like I'm like 190 and I'm not ripped, okay? So I went basically from like, 170, maybe a little bit less, to going up to like a little bit under 190, maybe like 185. I'd be like very lean right now. So like I said, it wasn't that I put on a huge amount of muscle, and it wasn't that I was already big. Like, yes, if I weighed 200 pounds and I went up to 220, yeah, that would have been kind of interesting, because 200 pounds lean is fucking pretty big. But I'm still, like I said, I'm still small, compared to what I theoretically could get to. Because a lot of these people that talk about, oh, everybody's on steroids and they talk about these tables and these charts and these calculators that they have to determine how much muscle you could put on. You know, if you were lean to a certain body fat percentage, this is what you could weigh. You know, they'll have you like your height and your weight and then measure your wrist or whatever, you know, different things, you know, to find out what you could theoretically weigh. And I'm way under that, you know, according to the people, you know, that come up with these formulas. Like, I'm way under right now what I could have, you know, could have been. So like I said, it's not like I'm pushing above my natural limit of muscle that I can build. What I'm basically doing is I'm just, you know, I'm well within it, okay? Like, I could, without using any hormones, still get bigger and still get stronger, okay? So why is it that everybody thinks about steroids? Well, like I said, first of all, one of the reasons is because, you know, they're lazy. It's like if you tell somebody else, well, they're using steroids and that's why, you know, I'm sitting on my ass on my sofa not doing anything, and it makes them feel better about themselves, that like, well, if I was using steroids, I'd be in shape too. No, you sit on your ass all day, okay? You could use steroids and maybe you'd gain 5 pounds of muscle by sitting on your ass and using steroids, and that would be it. Okay, fine. But the bottom line is, you know, people just want to, like I said, they just want to feel better about themselves because they're not doing anything. They want to have their little excuses. But the fact of the matter is, you know, at the end of the day, you know, like I said, what I accomplished wasn't really anything. You know, the fact of the matter is that most people never diet consistently. They never work out consistently. So it is so rare that somebody actually does something. Like, I got the most steroid accusations when I was, you know, almost 40, and I wanted to get lean. I lost like almost 40 pounds in under 4 months. I got lean as hell, okay, extremely lean. And people were saying, even the ones that were respectful were like, oh man, you know, no offense, but, you know, getting a physique competitor's, you know, build like that in such a short amount of time looks kind of like steroids. Like, even the ones that were respectful were like, dude, that's got to be, you know, got to be using something. The fact of the matter is, how many people have actually gone on a diet? You know, how many people have actually gone on a workout? How many people have been like, you know, not like, well, I'm going to lose a little bit of weight, or I'm going to watch what I eat, or I'm going to cut out the ho-hos, but like, how many people are like, I want to be fucking strict as fuck, and I'm not going to screw up my diet, I'm not going to screw up my workout for fucking a year? You know, how many people have actually done that? Now, I'm going to talk more about my workouts and how I built up all this muscle. You know, but the fact of the matter is, I mean, there was a time when I was doing dips that, you know, I was living I was just living to put 1.25 pounds on my dips. I would, you know, have a chain around my waist, and if I could put 1.25 pounds more weight around there, that was just like the best feeling in the entire world, and do the same number of reps. You know, how many people do that? How many people actually buy a weight plate specifically so that they could add, you know, like 1.25 pounds every time they go to the gym? And how many people get excited about that, you know? So it's like, well, at some point, doing that often enough, yes, I did end up having 180 pounds around my waist doing dips. You know, I mean, like, yes, I got strong as hell, but the fact of the matter is, you know, there's a way to do that, and it's called workout consistently. So like I said, when somebody works out and diets consistently, it's really hard for other people to believe that they did it naturally, because nobody's ever done it. You know, even the people that go to the gym, you know, consistently, that you see in the gym, their bodies never change. Their performance doesn't change in terms of strength, endurance, flexibility. Their body composition doesn't change in terms of losing fat, building muscle. You know, they don't look better or anything. Like, they just basically don't really do anything, because, you know, do you do it really consistently? Do you really consistently work out? Do you consistently diet? Do you consistently do everything in your power, you know, to put an extra pound on the bar, to put an extra 1.25 pounds around your waist for dips or pull-ups or something? You know, do you specifically cut out, you know, the cream and the sugar in your coffee to save the few calories when you're trying to cut? You know, and that's the difference. So because most people have never worked out in their entire lives consistently or dieted consistently and never seen anybody do that, that when somebody does get results, even though it's nothing special, it seems supernatural, and they assume you have to cheat and use steroids. So anyway, if you want to have steroid accusations because you got such good results, okay, because you built muscle, got stronger, because you cut fat. I mean, the fastest way to get steroid accusations is to lose 5 pounds of muscle. People will swear you gained 10 pounds of muscle overnight and you're on steroids. So if you want to go ahead and change your body so quickly, whether it means gaining weight or losing weight, to get steroid accusations, I suggest you go ahead and check out my low carb cutting and bulking diets. And it's 4 diets. 2 of them are hardcore, 2 of them are a little bit more normal, okay? 2 of them are for gaining muscle without getting fat, and 2 of them are for losing fat without losing muscle. Go ahead and click on the link in my profile if you're watching this on Instagram, Low Carb Cutting and Bulking. Or if you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube, just click on the link below the video. Go ahead and check it out. And like I said, you'll see that I'm very strong. I'm very strong. I have videos of some of the lifts I'm doing, and that's extremely strong. However, it's nothing superhuman. A power lifter would look at me and think I'm, kind of like first day in the gym, like he wouldn't be ashamed to be seen with me. For most people, however, I'm extraordinarily strong. The same thing with, I finished a bulking diet. There's a video on this page that the link will bring you to of me getting a DEXA scan and the guy saying that I had 10.2% body fat. That's incredibly lean for, any normal person, first of all. Second, coming out of a bulk, that's very lean. But it's nothing special. It's again, I'm not stage ready. It's just, it kind of, but basically just go ahead and click on this link and you'll see what is really possible. If you just consistently diet, consistently work out, you could get stronger than like 99% of the people you've ever seen. You could get leaner and better looking and more muscular than 99% of the people you've ever seen. And like I said, because of that, 99.9% of the people that see you will accuse you of using steroids because they cannot imagine actually getting a result like that. All right, guys, check it out. Low Carb Cutting and Bulking. Just click on a link. And other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video.